Well, hello everyone. It's been a while since I made my last video, hasn't it? um, so to give you an idea of where I was, for these last, 2 weeks or so, well, more like a week, but, I was at Anthrocon. If you've, read my post on here on YouTube, or, obviously if you read this, the title of this video, you'd probably know that by now. Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to, maybe make this video for you guys, and maybe just, give you my experience, at the convention, because, I've had some, good things, some bad things that happened. Overall, though, I thought this convention was, I thought it was amazing, really. Um, I was so glad that I went to the place, because I was kind of thinking about backing out like the last moment. Fortunately, I pulled through, and I made the drive over there, and I had some fun. It was a really amazing experience. Especially it gave me, it allowed me to break out of my isolation protection bubble a lot more, and I am really glad I did went. I'll go into more detail on what happened at the convention and all that stuff. So yeah, before I do get into it, I do want to say, just give a quick announcement. I am still a little sick, unfortunately, from the convention. I got a cold from someone there. I seem to be okay for the most part, but my throat might still be a little scratchy, so if there's like, some cuts like you see in this video, that's probably me just, taking a few minutes to, grab my bearings or grab some water, so. But yeah, I guess let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so I'm not entirely sure how I will break this video down. I'll probably just break it down by days or something, because that might be the most organized and probably the easiest for me to, say what I'll say to you guys. So I think that's what I might do. So, I guess for the first day of the convention, it was kind of a little bit of a slower day, kind of like a warm-up day, if that makes sense. What I mean by that is, I didn't really go to a lot of the panels. I actually only went to one panel for the first day. Actually, I went to two panels throughout the entire convention. But I got to the convention, the actual convention center, like at maybe 11 a.m. I think that was like about an hour before registration officially open, where people can actually go to the con. But I don't think that really made a whole lot of sense, really, because when I got there, people were already lined up and, going into the convention center ahead of time. So I was a bit glad that I did went, pretty early on, because the line this year was like pretty massive. Speaking of that, though, it was massive, but I heard that it was like a lot better, a lot more organized than Anthrocon last year. Because I didn't go last year, like I said, but I heard that the lines last year were like incredibly long. Some people had to wait like 3, 4, up to over 5 hours to just wait in line to get their badge. So I guess it wasn't too bad. I guess this is part of the con experience, Weirdly enough, like the first 30 minutes, of me waiting in line, it actually went pretty smoothly. I mean, the line that I was in was, constantly moving, and, people were getting their badges, and other stuff. So, but I guess after like 30 minutes, the entire line for my section just completely halted. If you've been to the con, you definitely remember this. And that's because there were like other people that had like different badge levels. So like if they were a sponsor or a super sponsor or a vendor, they had their own different registration line, and I guess that's what AC staff and volunteers wanted to do, was to get them, through the process first before the regular attendees like us did. I don't know. It was okay, I guess, but some people were getting like really, really upset because people were waiting. I mean, I was waiting in there for like about almost an hour or so before our line started to move. So yeah, I guess it wasn't too bad. Did meet a lot of cool people there in the line. I saw this lion fursuiter who looked really amazing. They had like a flower crown around their head, which I thought was pretty cool. I wish I got a picture with them, but oh well. So I guess after I got my badge, which I actually have right here, actually, you can see it. You can also see the little parade sticker on the top. So I'll definitely talk more a bit about that later on. But after I got my badge, after I got all of my stuff, I walked around for a little bit just to explore the center itself. There wasn't like a whole lot of people there or a whole lot of panels going on, so wasn't a whole lot to do. But when I walked up there, I think it was like to the second floor, I actually met someone. Don't want to say local because they still lived a few hours from me, but it was a person that I recognized from a previous meetup. And he went up to me. He, weirdly enough, funny enough, he actually called me on my Telegram to see if I would pick up. But after that, he just went up to me and say, "Hey, I recognize you," and I recognize them as well. So that was pretty interesting. Definitely a small world. But yeah, we talked a little bit. We talked about what both of us been up to. And I guess after a little while, we kind of just walked around together. Not really throughout the convention, because like I said, there was not a whole lot going on at the time. It was more like registration. So we kind of just went out into the city and just walked around for a bit. He wanted to go to, I guess, one of his friends' hotels that he was staying at to, I don't know, drop off something or just say hi. But yeah, I kind of just let him, do the walking, because I think he went to Anthrocon before I did. So he definitely knows more about the city than I do. So, but yeah, after a little while, we went to, his hotel room, or one of his friend's hotel rooms. And, we kind of just talked with each other for a little bit. Eventually, like, one of his friends in that hotel room, came in. And we all just, talked for a little bit, just learn what happened, between us, what we've been up to, like I said. I guess after a little while, we went to his hotel room. Kind of the same thing that happened, really, except this time, most of his roommates were actually in the room, so, he invited me over. We kind of just had like don't want to say party, but we just chilled out for like about an hour or so and just talked. There were some pretty interesting people in there. Some of them were like musicians, others were like, I know one was like a fursuit maker. I thought it was pretty cool, to talk with all of them and stuff. I think some of them actually performed in the at one of the panels at the convention. So yeah, like I said, we talked for a little bit and all that, and eventually we just head back to the convention. More specifically, I had to go back to the convention because there was a panel that I wanted to view and maybe even partake in. And that panel, actually, I might as well get into it now. But that panel was the SCP Foundation panel. If you were there, you might have actually saw me because I had so I brought my airsoft kit with me to the con, and that's because specifically of this panel. And why I did that was because in the SCP universe, I guess, if you know about it, there are these groups of soldiers called the Mobile Task Force. And what they do is they kind of just if you don't know the SCP universe, this might sound really confusing, but they go around and they pretty much like contain these weird entities, unnatural entities, really. It's kind of hard to explain, really. Like I said, I'm still a little sick, so. But yeah, I guess going back to my main talking point was I dressed up as like an MTF soldier, throughout the con, or throughout this first day, just for this panel right here. And, I got to the panel, we were still waiting for it to actually begin and all that, and, I was sitting at the front just waiting and all that, and, I guess one of the organizers of this panel, went up to me and they liked my kit and said, hey, you should, step onto the panel with us and just look cool, because you have your, your military outfit, and, that's what I kind of did, because there weren't a whole lot of, people up there just yet, so, it was me and a couple of others that wanted to, that got up in front of the panel and all that, and, we didn't do anything, we kind of just looked cool, I guess. But yeah, the panel began. It was a really good panel. The speaker was he was very friendly, and he was really funny. And yeah, I guess there wasn't really a whole lot to say to it. I kind of just stand around behind him, looking, cool, I guess. Just did this. But yeah, that was the SCP panel. I met a lot of really cool people there. There was a Mallow, or an SCP-1471 fursuit, which looked really amazing. I think if you like saw one of my previous posts, I might have posted that. If I don't, I could just post it on here real quick. So, and that was really cool. Definitely like one of the cooler fursuits I think I've seen, throughout the con. So, I guess after the panel, I kind of just walked around for a little bit. I met a couple of more people. I eventually met someone there, who I was talking with a little bit before the official start of the con. Just so we could like hang out and do stuff together and all that. And that's what we kind of did. We just chilled out at the place for a couple of hours. And I guess by 9 o'clock, I was supposed to go to a room party. It was one that I found on, I think it was on Bark or Discord. They posted an ad on there, and I decided to, head over to the place and just, just chill out, with other people and, see what they're like. So, One thing that I noticed after like attending AC is that some furries do drink a lot. um, but yeah, I'm not really much of a drinker, but you know, it's I don't have a problem with people drinking as long as it's like in moderation, you know. So, I went to the room party. Oops, sorry. I went to the room party. I hung out for a little bit. It was definitely a good experience. I'd say that and the SCP panel like was the highlight of my day. My first day at the con, because I guess this party was a bit smaller, but it was more, I guess, together. Like, we kind of just, got to know each other at the party. I did drink a little bit, but I did drink responsibly. uh, there was actually another person who I wanted to meet for a while now in person, before even before the start of the con, who had nothing to do, this evening, or this night really. So I, asked the room organizer, asked him if, hey, can I invite this person over? And he was really cool with it. I think his name was Atlas. So, yeah. Yeah, you could hear the train out there, but it's all good. But yeah, I invited this person over. And we just chilled out, all of us for like a couple of hours. I think one funny thing about this party, about inviting this friend of mine over, was I didn't see him in person before this. I didn't even see what he looked like before this, so I actually didn't know it was him after like maybe, I don't know, like 20 to 30 minutes after he got there. And I sent him a message on Telegram saying, hey, where are you at? And this friend of mine told me in person, hey, I'm right here, dude. You didn't see me? Oh boy. Yeah, that was a bit of an embarrassing but funny story. But it's all good. I mean, we definitely talked with each other for, quite a bit, and all of us. But yeah. I guess that was kind of the highlight of the first day. Eventually I did leave, and I went back to my hotel and passed out because I did not sleep at all the previous night, because I was just too excited for the convention and, meeting all these cool people. Okay, so day 2 of Anthrocon. So this one is actually going to be a little bit more, a bit harder for me to say, particularly early on, because I actually wasn't having the best time during like part of this day, really. And I think that's because, I don't think I've told you this yet, guys, but even though I do like talk a lot in these videos, I am like very antisocial and very shy in real life, so it is really hard for me to go up to people and talk with them, especially if they have like a fursuit on, so I don't know like what's going on under their heads, so it can be a little bit hard for me to find people and talk with them. And I was getting to that because this wave of like social anxiety running through me early on, by day 2, kind of made me have like a small breaking point. It kind of just made me really isolated throughout this part of the day. It almost made me wanted to go home, actually. I guess it was just a little too much for me. I didn't go home. Like I said, I stuck through it, and I knew what was happening, and I really had to try my best to just not throw in the towel and just leave early second day, so. But yeah, like I said, early on the second day, I just wasn't having the best time of my life. Yeah, like I said, I was just thinking about heading home, because I just wasn't really having fun at that point. Um, but eventually, what picked my mood up, and I actually made a post about this, but like right after I guess I was having like one of my episodes. My very first fan, not very first, but the first, I guess in real life fan, came up to me and recognized me and said, "Hey, I like your videos, dude." I don't think he said that specifically, but it, I guess, like hearing this and seeing this person kind of, I don't know how to describe it really, but it felt like my whole body went cold. Not in a bad way, but in a good way actually, because someone recognized me. Someone from the videos that he posts, said they saw them and he liked them a lot, and um, and I won't lie, I was actually kind of on the brink of tears under my fursuit head, because um, yeah, I don't know how to describe it really, but it just meant a lot to me, especially when I wasn't having a great time that day so far. Um, but yeah, I didn't talk with him a whole lot, unfortunately, because there was another person who I recognize came up to me from behind and said, "Hey man, we should hang out." um, and all that. Before that, meeting this, so when I was meeting this fan, we got a picture. I think, we ended up giving each other a hug, which was completely fine. um, and he had like I think he had like a Resident Evil RPD uniform. I can't exactly remember what he wore, but it was some sort of like police uniform, I think. And where I want to get to this is, if you are like reading this, like that person that came up to me and, you know, said that they like my videos, I just wanted to personally reach out to you and say, thank you. Um, Unfortunately, like I said, that other person that wanted to hang out with me, kind of threw things off, because if it wasn't for that, I would have loved to talk with you, about anything really. Meeting you, like was like the first major highlight of my day, and that really boosted my morale up. So, um, I don't know what else to really say, honestly. I just wanted to apologize for not really just sticking around much longer and talking with you. So, I don't think I got your name, unfortunately, but what I just wanted to say again to you is just really just thank you. Um, I it really did mean a lot to me when you came up to me and was really brave for you to come up to me and say, hey, I like your videos, dude. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to really describe. Um, like I said, I wanted to, talk with him and, just chill. Just, like I said, just learn about each other and just, casually just chat about the stuff. But, yeah, I guess some things got, uh, I don't know how to describe it, but some things kind of happened as well. So, unfortunately, we both had like, part ways, but yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling again. But long story short, I wanted to say that, I met this fan very briefly, but he was super awesome and he was very friendly. And I did wish I, stuck around a little bit longer so we could talk about, anything really. So, yeah, I guess directly after that, I said that there was another person that I met prior, before the con, that wanted to hang out. And, that's what we did. We kind of just hung around at the dealer's den, which is like this massive, area of the con where, people can buy, all kinds of merchandise. And that's what we did, for like an hour or so. We kind of just went around the different booths and, just see what people were selling. There were a lot of fursuits actually during the dealer's den. Even up until like the third day or fourth day when I left, there were still like quite a handful that were being sold. And I will say this: I was trying my absolute hardest to not spend an insane amount on merchandise this year, and it was very difficult. I'll get into this a little bit later on, maybe in my next video, but this jacket was one that I bought. I'll definitely show you a bit more about it, because it's really detailed and it's really cool, I think. But I'll show you that in like another video, probably the next one after this, where I show what I got at the con. But yeah, sorry, I just need to catch a breather. There's another train nearby. I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the dealer's den. So yeah, we kind of just walked around. Me, him, and I think it was like another person. I don't know if it was like a friend of his or like a partner of his. But we kind of just, all walked together. Going to the different booths, to see, all the amazing stuff that, people were selling and such. Eventually we kind of just, parted ways. We hung out for a little bit. He wanted to do stuff, with his partner. I kind of wanted to explore the dealer's den a little bit more. And I guess after like an hour, we kind of just parted ways. And, but yeah, I guess, that was, I guess, part of the dealer's den. I guess I went back a little bit later on, multiple times actually, before I left. And, purchased, all kinds of, goodies. But I guess moving on, I guess a little bit into the evening, or early evening portion of this, I got a message, a telegram message from that first person I met that I recognized on the first day, and he invited me to a room party. It was kind of like a 4th of July party because this took place during the 4th. And I was pretty excited because, I knew this person, and I guess by extension I might know some other people at the con, which I actually ended up knowing someone there who is like very local to me. So yeah, eventually I went to my hotel room. I got cleaned up. I got into like a new pair of clothes, one that's more fresh and all that, and I made my way to the hotel room, that the party was being hosted in. And when I got there, everyone there was, super nice. They were super casual, super friendly, and eventually later on, we went to one of we left the hotel room because we wanted to watch the fireworks. So we walked to one of to the bridges, in Pittsburgh. That was like right in front of the fireworks show. And we kind of just, chilled out for that evening. We all just, well, it was more or less me just learning, the people there, because the people who were already there kind of knew each other. So I had to play a bit of catch up. So, but yeah, I went to the fireworks show. It was really amazing. I took like a very long video of it. I'm probably not going to post it because it's not ASMR related, but I don't know, maybe I will. Um, Nothing too interesting except, the fireworks and all that. Um, but yeah, after the fireworks show, we all kind of just went back to the hotel room and just chilled out for a couple hours. Really, we were supposed to bring like drinks. All of us were supposed to like bring drinks. But I guess all of the stores were closed for the 4th of July, so we were all kind of out of luck by then. But it's all good. To me, it was all good because, like I said, I don't drink a whole lot. Um, but yeah, after when we got to the hotel room, we all kind of just chilled out, just relaxed, after the second day. Um, and people were still coming in. There was actually one person, I said this earlier, but there was one person who I recognized, who I, seen multiple times before, and it was, it was really bizarre to see this person again, especially in a big convention in a big city like this. And he recognized me. He said, "Hey, yeah, I recognize you, dude," and it was so cool. Because it's, I don't know how to describe it, but the furry community, especially, in Anthrocon, is like really big, but at the same time, it's also like very close. I don't want to say very small, but it's like very intertwined, because, you may end up knowing another person, but, you may end up knowing another person, and these two people also know each other. So it's kind of like a massive web, because there's like all these different connections, between these different people, and you'll never really know who really knows each other. It's kind of bizarre to think about, especially for someone like myself. But yeah, I do want to say this though. During this party for the second night, there was a person that I met who was like very friendly. His name is, I might as well give his name because I don't think he'd mind, but his name is Cole. And Cole, if you're reading this, I just want to say hello, welcome to my video. But yeah, Cole, he's a very nice person. Very sweet, very caring. Maybe, just talk with each other for a little bit. We kind of just talked about ourselves and, about our own lives, and all that. And he's actually he's not local, but he lives like maybe a couple of hours from me. So I hope I get to see him again in real life because he's a very sweet person. I do like him a lot. So, yeah. But I guess a little bit later on, I did leave the party, and because, I don't know, I guess I kind of just worn out my welcome. That's a joke, by the way. They all really like me a lot, but I felt like it was just time for me to head out myself, because it was like almost 1 a.m., so, yeah. I guess after the party, I went back to the convention center, just for a little bit, because there was a rave going on, and I didn't like partake in the rave of this night. It was really just me going there to just see what everything was about, So not a whole lot that happened. I did see a lot of like really, really interesting fursuits. I don't want to say what I saw explicitly, but there was just a lot of like really crazy but really amazing fursuits there. So yeah, I guess after that I kind of just went home for the night and just slept, or at least I tried to sleep, because that next day was the parade, which I'll get into. Okay, so this is day 3 of Anthrocon. Unfortunately, this was like my last like full day of Anthrocon because I had to leave a bit early the next day because of my work, but I'll get into that when we get into it. But yeah, day 3. So I guess the big highlight of this day was the parade, because Anthrocon hosts I think, at least I think they do host a fursuit parade every year, for people to just see all the amazing different fursuits and all that. And yeah, I did register for the parade a little early on yesterday. I actually didn't know I could even register because I thought I wasn't qualified. And what I mean by qualified is, so apparently Anthrocon, like the staff at AC, changed a bit of the rule set on who can participate in the parade of this year. And I guess one of their biggest changes was to not allow, I think it's called poodling. I did not know what poodling meant before this, so I had no idea what it was. But apparently it's fursuiters like myself, wearing a fursuit, but they're also showing human skin. So, for example, if I was wearing a t-shirt only instead of this jacket, and you could see my arms, as human skin, that would be what poodling is. And it seemed like they wanted to crack down on that this year. And if you want my opinion, I don't really exactly know why they would do something like that. I mean, I can maybe understand, having a limit, because, the parade was, from what I've heard, the parades were getting much longer and a bit more, I guess, disorganized every year, because you had people who was wearing nothing, not nothing, but they didn't have a cosplay, they didn't have a fursuit on, it was just going in their normal, everyday clothes, participating in it. So I'm not sure what I think about the whole situation. I didn't know about it until a week before I got to before the start of the con, so I don't really have a whole lot to say to it. But I do feel there might have to be a limit enforced before before people just put their foot down and say, hey, we have to start enforcing these rules and all that. So I don't know. I hear there's a lot of different opinions on it, on the parade this year. So, but yeah. But speaking of that, eventually I did get accepted into the parade. I think I wore a red flannel, just to cover up my skin, and for some reason I had it with me. But, yeah, after I got checked into the parade, I, was standing next to this other fursuiter who looked, her fursuit was, really insanely good. And she actually made everything herself, which is really impressive as well, because I thought, I thought she had it commissioned or something, because the quality of it looked really good, like I said. But no, she made it herself. She made everything, the body, the head, the paws. And we kind of just talked with each other for about an hour or so, until the official start of the parade. But yeah, nothing too much, I guess. Yeah. Funny enough, actually, there was another person who's local in my area who was also in the parade, and he was in the row in front of me, which is, once again, it's really insane, because I did recognize a couple of people at this point. And yeah, we just talked. I talked with this other fursuiter that I just met. Oh, and by the way, I don't have an image of us together. But her fursuit was it was some sort of cat. It was some sort of like cat species. I don't know if it was like a snow leopard or a lynx or a lynx or some other like feline species. But it was, like I said, it was amazing, and yeah. But this other fursuiter who I met before locally, he had a purple fox species, and he had like some sort of Hawaiian shirt on, which was pretty cool, I guess, too. Yeah, you know, I kind of just sat in the parade, waited for like an hour or so, a little bit over an hour. And after a little while, the parade began, and I participated in it, and it was really good. You know, a lot of people wanted to give me high fives. Some people wanted to give me hugs. I did see like a couple of videos of myself online, which is like super cool to see myself on there. One thing that I will say though, this is kind of an embarrassing story, but my tail that I was wearing was actually like getting loose and falling down, so so my tail was just like completely like detached from my body, but it was still like connected because it's a belt, so yeah, it was a little bit embarrassing, but oh well. Most people probably won't recognize it, hopefully, unless if I point it out like I'm doing right now. So, but yeah, parade went pretty well. You know, like I said, I gave out a lot of high fives. You know, gave out a lot of hugs. And eventually the parade was over. We gathered after the parade. We gathered in the it was like in this basement area, not like the basement, but it was like this first floor where like the registration stuff a few days ago took place in. And we all kind of just hung out there. Many people were just getting packed and, you know, undressing, you know, their fursuits because it was like really hot that day, and I think some people were getting like pretty exhausted. So yeah, I chilled out there for a little bit, like I said, grabbing my bearings, you know, just taking a few minutes for myself, because I was wearing this fursuit I'm not kidding, the entire time, even like before the start of the parade, when we were all lining up, I was wearing it. But yeah, I guess after the parade, we had this thing called a block party, where I guess part of, or like a couple of the streets around the con was like blocked off, and you know what it is it allows like people in the furry community, specifically people who are, you know, fursuiters, to go out and, you know, mingle, you know, interact with people who are not in the fandom, and that's what happened. You know, I participated in it. I, you know, walked around. You know, a lot of kids wanted to come up to me and, you know, take pictures with me, which is like super sweet, and I love that. I think that's probably one of my favorite things about fursuiting like this, is because I want to make people happy. And it wasn't just kids too. It was like, you know, adults, and it was like, you know, even older people. So, but yeah. I guess that was the block party. I didn't really do a whole lot there. I kind of didn't stay around for a whole lot of the time either, because it was like 90 degrees that day and I was getting exhausted. But yeah, what else happened Saturday? Saturday was like the biggest date, by the way. I don't think I've said that, and I think this date was what really made the highlight of my experience. So, I guess a little bit after the block party, I went back to the dealer's den, and like I said, I looked around. I purchased some more stuff, and like I said, that's how I bought this jacket, which I think is really good. Like I said, I'll get into that in like another video, probably the next one that I'll make, and showcase it more, because I think it really does fit my fursuit style really well, because it has the same colors the same color palette as my fursuit head up here. So, but yeah, I guess after the dealers, then I went and to the ballroom, which is like this massive open area where you can view like larger performances at the con. And I watched a I don't know what it was called. It was some sort of like breakdance event where there were like these different groups. Some of them wore fursuits, which is insane to see. And these teams would essentially just breakdance. And they would do this until there was like a clear winner. And there was like a bunch of teams there too. So I was there for like quite a while, and that was amazing. I thought seeing like all of the breakdancers, doing their moves, some of them in fursuits, mind you, was just really cool to see. And I'm glad I stumbled, across there, because I had no idea that was going on. But yeah, and I stayed there for a little bit. I stayed there until the end, until the final showdown, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was amazing. Everyone there was like super cool. And yeah, eventually a couple of them came past me to get some water. And I just said, hey, you did a great job out there. And obviously they said thank you, and they appreciated my comments. So, well, yeah, I guess after the breakdance event, I attended a second panel, and this is like another major panel I wanted to view. And this was the furry ASMR panel, hosted by a couple of furry ASMR artists. And I eventually I got lost on my way there, because the room is actually like on the other side of the con where the ballroom is located. And I was like completely lost getting to there, because the breakdance event ended like at 7, like before 8 or so, and the panel started at 8, so I only had like a few minutes to get to the place. But I was like so lost, because the layout of like the con like really made me confused, because I thought the panel was actually like on a floor above me. So I went up there, I couldn't find the room number, and I kind of panicked. And I saw there was a sign nearby showing the room numbers, and they were on the other side of the convention center. So I kind of just sprinted all the way over there. But yeah, I got to the panel just fine. It was a few minutes late, but it's all good. I viewed most of it anyway. So, but yeah, the panel itself, like I said, it was a furry ASMR panel hosted by, I guess, by 3 people. I think the main speaker was Zydurian. If you're watching this part, dude, I apologize, but it's really hard for me to pronounce your name. The Protogen ASMR artist, also the ferret ASMR artist. But yeah, it was him. I think the other one is like a person named Deary. I do recognize them. So, and the third one was Mixie. I think that's their name. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry. But yeah, I attended the panel. I stood in the very back because I didn't want to take up a spot or anything. So, but yeah, there's actually a couple of other ASM artists who were not like directly into the panel, but I did recognize them, which is once again really cool to see. Hopefully, I get to see them, again next year, or at another convention, down the road, and just say hi, just say what's up and all that. And yeah, I think one of the funniest parts of this panel was like the improv section. And if you if you didn't attend this panel or anything, it's where the three speakers would do like improv ASMR based on like what the audience asked them to. So, for example, if I think one of the first like improv scenarios was someone like giving ASMR like at the Daytona 500, which is insane. And there were like all kinds of different, weird scenarios like this. So it was a good time. It was really hilarious. But yeah, I guess after the panel was over, another person recognized me and recognized my videos. I can't remember his name, unfortunately. And if you're reading this, I really do apologize. But he had this spy uniform, this Team Fortress 2 blue spy uniform, which is like really amazing, and I thought it was a really good, cosplay. And I think he was actually like one of the volunteers at the place. Not volunteer, but I think he helped set up the booth, so he kind of knows some of these speakers, which is really cool, honestly. And like I said, it's goes back to my main point of the furry community being like a web, where people know each other through like multiple different ways and all that. So, but yeah, me and this person, we talked for a little bit. Eventually, the speakers of this panel came up to us and say, "Hey, how are you guys doing?" I mean, they knew him. They didn't know me, so. But yeah, it was cool. I met Deary. Very cool person. I also met Zidurian. He was really nice too. I saw his ferret fursuit, which is like really adorable. I especially love the pink nose on it. I thought it was so cute. So, but yeah, I guess after the panel was over, because a couple of us were there like after the panel was like long over, and eventually some of the workers at the not for Anthrocon, but the actual like convention center itself came up to us and say like, "Hey, you guys need to leave because you were here for like an hour after the panel ended." So yeah, a couple of us left, and we kind of just chill out at the convention center, and we just talked about, various things. I learned a little bit about them. The panelists also left by this time, so it was me, this other person, the TF2 cosplayer, and another person who, both these people know each other, but I can't remember his name, unfortunately, either. So if you're seeing this, if you're reading this, or listening to this, first of all, hello. But yeah, and we all kind of, like I said, we all just hung out at the convention center and just talked for a couple of hours, just various different things, some stupid stuff, some unfortunate stuff that happened, between all of us, like previous cons and shit. Oops, I didn't mean to drop an S-bomb, so I'm sorry. Oh well, it'll be okay. But yeah, like I said, we all just talked, just walked around the place for a couple of hours, and we did this until like 11:30. Yeah, 'cause we all just stayed together for like a couple of hours after the panel was over, and I guess by 11:30 we all kind of just like wanted to tune out because some of us were like getting really tired and sleepy. Weirdly enough, I wasn't. I still wanted to like hang out and socialize. So I guess after our little breakup between the three of us, I went to the Rave because there was another big one going on, because there's a Saturday night, and I'd say maybe like the last big day before before the con starts to dwindle a little bit, and I went to the Rave, And yeah, I danced. I enjoyed myself a little bit there. And I mean, this is like the really like big highlight of my day was I was dancing by myself, just enjoying the music. And there was a fursuiter who had like, I know I'm going to sound really biased, but I thought he had the most amazing fursuit head I think I've seen. I mean, it wasn't anything like unnatural, like no unnatural colors, like the red here, but it was just the best way I can describe it was clean. It was very simple. It was very all the colors blended, and he had like, I mean, his fursuit had like really amazing blue eyes, and I really thought I could just stare into them all day and I wouldn't get tired. But yeah, he went up to me. He said, "Hey, I like your fursuit," and I gave him the compliment back. I liked his a lot as well, like I said, and we kind of just ended up dancing with each other for. I'm not kidding. It was like until like 2 a.m. Until the rave was over. So like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Well, maybe more like an hour, hour and a half, and we kind of just danced. We eventually held on to each other, and it was a really good night between us. I will say this though, this will sound a bit insane because I only knew him like during this dance, or I met him during this dance, but I felt like I kind of liked him, in that way. I know it's kind of hard to say, but he was the one. I mean, there were like so many people at the convention or at the rave here, and he chose someone like myself. And I don't know how to describe it really, but it felt like during this night, it felt like I wasn't like just a shadow or anything. I felt like a real person, because he could have danced with anyone at the rave, and out of all of the people, he chose someone like myself. And I don't know how to really describe how I feel even right now, but a part of me kind of likes him, and I don't know if he's interested in me as well, because he did ask me, because we do have like Telegram, we gave our contacts on Telegram, and he asked me again if I was going to the rave the next night and meet him. He actually wanted to stay at my hotel, but the people who I was rooming with were already asleep, and they probably wouldn't appreciate me bringing a random person with them. So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't stay the night. I think he said he was local, so I felt like I should have asked if I could have stayed at his place, but he didn't like bring anything up. He didn't like bring the offer, so I imagine that was like out of the table. So yeah, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like meeting this person kind of gave me feelings, almost makes me wish I kind of want to see him again, and that's what I might do. Sorry, my head's just a little bit spinning right now. But yeah, I met this guy. We danced. We held on to each other for a couple of hours, and we have our contacts. Like we're still mutuals on Telegram, and I would like to meet him again. But yeah, maybe at another con or something, but I don't know. We'll just see where that leads us, so. But yeah, the fourth day, it wasn't really a whole lot. Actually, I had to leave the fourth day because I had work. on Monday. This is by now this is Sunday, so unfortunately I couldn't take any more time off than I did, because I mean, they gave me the 4th of July off, which is something they never really do, the place I work at. So I didn't like want to push my luck or anything, and request another day off, because they probably would have fired me at that point. But yeah, I I guess for the 4th, I guess I can say this a little bit. I did go back to the dealer's den one more time, and I got a couple of mystery boxes. Yeah, they if you didn't go, or if you didn't see this, there was this one booth that was selling like furry mystery boxes that had like all kinds of stuff in them. So there's like T-shirts, there's plushies, there are like keychains, and I ended up buying 2 because I wasn't thinking clearly. Also, they offer like a free tote bag, which is really cool too. It allowed me like put some stuff in there, and I got my mystery boxes. I didn't open them up until like much later on that day. But I think the really cool thing was they had like this little wheel spinning mini game where you can like spin the wheel, and you could like whatever this red arrow lands on, you got like a prize or something, wherever the red arrow lands. And I actually got the jackpot, which is like kind of surprising. And what that meant was, I didn't get like a mystery box or anything. I would have loved that, but they had like all these other like smaller prizes that were on the wheel. And me getting the jackpot meant I got like one of each of them, which is like really cool. Honestly, I thought that that alone like made the money worth it. But I can show you more about that a little bit later on, like I said. But yeah, after I left the dealer's den one last time, I kind of just went back to my hotel. Well, I didn't go back to my hotel just yet. I went to the entrance, and I bought like a T-shirt for the Anthrocon. I don't know what to describe it, but the official Anthrocon T-shirt is what I got. And after that, I kind of went back to my hotel, got packed up, and I left. I left like at just before 1 p.m. on Sunday. And that was my con. That was my convention experience. Yeah, it was. I know it's kind of me rambling a lot, and I did like really thought about like what I should say. So there were definitely some things that I wanted to say that I just overlooked, or I didn't like go into a whole lot of detail. But yeah, I felt like I wanted to make this video. I don't think there's gonna be a whole lot of people here at the end still listening. But yeah, like I said, this is the this is my con experience. Overall, it was a really good convention. Definitely a big convention, for a first timer like myself, but I thought it was worth it in the end. I'm really glad I did put like all the money and effort and time into it. And I'm really glad that I did enjoy it. And it kind of makes me want to explore other conventions, down the line. I know Megaplex is another big one that I might be able to attend if there's the person I know, the spy cosplayer, who I talked with Saturday nights before the rave. Apparently he has like a room, and someone may or may not be leaving yet, so I don't know. I kind of want to keep my hopes up and see if I can get to the convention, but if not, no biggie. And that guy that I was talking about, who I met at the rave, he's also going to Megaplex. And like I said, I know I sound a bit obsessed and crazy, but I really would like to meet him again. you know, in person. I mean, like I said, we're still on contacts on Telegram, but it would definitely make up, you know, for the lost time that, you know, we couldn't spend together. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, this is my con experience. I apologize if it was like really confusing or hard to understand sometimes, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, I apologize. I also want to apologize if my voice is still like a little weak because I am still a little bit sick, but I wanted to get this out to you guys. So, okay, guys. Like I said, overall this con was really good. I'm glad I went, and I'm glad I met a lot of really cool people here at the con, mind you. Sorry. Hopefully the next con will be better. Hopefully it'll be with like people that I know and that I room with instead of strangers. So yeah, don't know what else to really say. You know, if you have a comment, or if I didn't like explain something clearly, you're more than welcome to leave a comment, and yeah, I'll definitely respond to it. At least I'll try to. So, okay, guys. I'm going to get off of here now because my throat is like really killing me. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching this video. I do appreciate it a lot, and I'm glad that you guys are still sticking around, especially after going on like an almost 2-week hiatus without posting a new video. So yeah, I'll definitely make more videos after this, preferably when I'm not sick. So okay, guys, I'm about to head out, so I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, all right, I appreciate you guys again. So okay, all right, bye bye, guys. I love you all. See ya.